Welcome in everyone, and the only bullet point that I actually have for this video that I've put together is I'm upset about the town boards. I want to talk about it because I think Amazon is making and going in the wrong direction when it comes to how they facilitated the town boards. If you guys haven't seen my video updates to kind of catch everybody up to speed, as a part of the Brimstone update, they nerfed the experience you get from town boards, and that has had the unintended consequence of people not doing town boards, so towns aren't getting upgraded, or they're struggling to be upgraded overall. In the latest dev update, they're saying to account for this, they're nerfing the amount of effort that is needed for the town projects to complete, and therefore they think that might solve the problem. And I think both of these changes were the wrong changes, and I hope to kind of lay out a case as to why. Now, thankfully, I'm not alone. I'll include a thread that I found on on the forums to give you guys, if you want to go weigh in and toss your support or your feedback one way or the other into the discussion over there. But the reason I want to sit down and talk to you guys today about it is because it's actually, I think, a very important thing, because the two changes they made, I think, are only going to make the situation worse off in terms of kind of the real reason or the real meaning, the real incentive. I guess incentive is going to be a key word here. Also, apologize to all the Amazon devs that I tag in this video on Twitter. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Love your work, but we got to talk about this problem. So anyway, for those of you guys who are new, my name is Brian. I'm a software dev. I love video games. I love New World. For those of you who are returning, you're amazing, and thank you so much for subscribing to this channel. We talk about New World here at an excessive amount, and hopefully you guys have been enjoying the content. Why is this the wrong move, and what do I think can be done to fix it? Now, I think there's a lot that actually can be done to fix it, and these shouldn't just be my ideas alone. But this is something that you guys, I've been hammering on all year, having played New World, and it's that we've already seen a de-incentive of the town board system once you hit level 60, because they still reward experience, but you don't need experience at 60. It hits the floor. So the first things first, the devs need to address that. They need to restore the town boards to where they were. They need to restore the amount of time that it took and keep the experience as it was. I think maybe there was a kind of the thought behind that is they didn't want people streaming and returning and just saying, hey, it's all it is town boards, and that's how you do it. To a degree, you could probably nerf the experience a little bit, but the drastic cut that they made really hurt it. But the other group that was hurt is the economy. One of the things that was really unique about town boards is that they actually drove demand of many items. My hope was that the town board system could continue to be expanded on and allowed to continually to try and create some kind of demand, especially maybe for items that really weren't going for much on the town board. It was a way of a player being able to choose kind of their adventure. Are you a wealthy entrepreneur who can just afford to buy whatever they need and just turn in the boards for your progress? Well, done and done. Or are you somebody who was like, yeah, I could actually make a lot of money because there's all these wealthy people willing to just kind of pay me extra money for this work. So it was be able to create a demand on the economy. That's one of the beautiful things about a player-driven economy, and it's the hardest thing to kind of balance, because the unintended consequence is that town boards, yes, they got run out the mill, but if you actually go look at materials and items, like there's less demand for these things, because sometimes it's fun to go like, yeah, get a quest or do this thing. Sometimes it's just nice to go buy it from the market and turn it in. And you might not agree that that's fun, but that's okay. Like, you don't have to agree with that for it to still work for a certain portion of the player base. But the problem still existed even still today, before they made all these changes, that at level 60, it meant nothing. Like, the experience just hit the floor. Same thing with the quests. They just hit the floor. And it's in that hitting the floor that could come back. Like, that's the thing I've been advocating for, and I'm going to continue to advocate for. And they've solved the problem with crafting and gathering, and I think that they can solve that problem with leveling. Now, the question is that what if they one day increase the level cap? What if they one day do X, Y, and Z? Well, the system could be simple as, if you're at level cap, go into this post-progression system. If you're not at level cap, then you're in this post progression. You're in generate, normal level XP progress. Or you could say that you could turn it on post 60 and your experience either goes to leveling post cap or post progression post cap. And that gives you a little bit of choice of what you want to do and where you want to spend that experience. I don't think experience should be the most efficient way of achieving your goals, but it's a beautiful static method that happens. The other things that this then connects into, so we talked about the economy, that got impacted by this change, and I'd like to see that restored. But now let's talk about the open world and how they can incentivize that with post-progression XP. Look at, Guild Wars is a great example because in that, and it's so funny because in New World, they do this with the PvP. The longer you've lived PvP flag, the more bonus experience you give if you get killed, or you get if you kill someone who's been alive. That exists today. They need to do the same thing for PvE. They need to bring that in, because then all of a sudden you could end up finding whole areas, whole farms that aren't being visited, aren't being explored, that offer like great bonuses to your experience, because those enemies have just been spawned out there for Lord knows how long. And all of a sudden you have a whole additional method of open world gameplay that can be incentivized for players to go run around, explore, and fight these enemies that have just been kind of just doing their thing without any kind of consequence. This would also make the XP value of bonus faction stuff work. There's so many great systems. Like when you cut, like everything in this game that rewards you experience needs to continue to do so post level 60. And then that feeds into the town boards, because then town boards offer another method in which that you choose to engage. And then it offers a method for people to engage and funnel items into the economy and funnel items out of the economy. It's so freaking beautiful. Like they're not the most beautiful, like mind-bending quests, right? They're not supposed to be. So I get the devs' response to wanting to step it down. But then here I come to like any kind of compromise in this regards. I've seen people say that maybe you can get bonus, coin at level, when you don't need the XP, or maybe you can get, and honestly, I'd say give more player choice to the player. Like if you're ever going to alter the reward structure of the town boards, I'm all for letting somebody to pick, like do they want more XP, or do they want, coin or faction reputation? Like give more player choice to the player and what is going to drive them to do town boards in the first place. The core issue, I talk about all these things, right? And I know it's a lot, but the core issue is the incentive, right? Every player in this game's got a different incentive. I have a different incentive than other players. I'm just a weird gamer like that. Like I enjoy kind of the social fabric that connects us through economy. And that's why the town boards, ultimately are a frustrating kind of thing, and why I'm talking about this in a dedicated video. But giving the player the choice of their reward also, like where they could kind of pick, like, do you want A, B, C, or D, like could solve the problem without having to have a post-progression experience system. But nerfing the experience and now going back and nerfing the requirements to get it done doesn't get people to run in and do the town boards. The people who are doing them anyway are going to do them. It just is going to take a less burden on them, and it doesn't, I think, solve the root problem of what that system is meant to be. And I think that it could be better for sure, but I think they're going in the wrong direction. But my voice is failing me. I coughed a couple times in filming, so sorry for the jump cuts. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know if there's something I'm missing. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the subject. I thank you guys so much for your time today. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I'll see you in my next one, but until then, take care.